Alright. There we go. Okay, that's up. Hey, okay. Let us get into the drawing. Alright, I think everything is set up, so I will get to work here. Welcome to whoever is watching this from the beginning in the future. I am edward18, and I am working on the latest page of my comics that I have been creating for over a decade now. Here we have Doko at the Shadow Tournaments fighting the Claw. The Claw has just gotten done telling Doko on the previous page to stop yelling out attack names, as is custom for the anime tournament type fighting going on. And he's kind of breaking the conventional tropes of the medium, but the Claw just wants a fight, an actual proper fight. In yelling out the attack names, all that that's doing is alerting the Claw to where Doko is, which makes it easier for the Claw to avoid him. And he doesn't want that. He just wants all of Doko's participation. No flashy effects, no anything, just a proper fight. And Doko here is gonna be doing his best to deliver that fight. We have some music. Some music from Dinosaur Planet playing in the background, which is the beta of Star Fox Adventures. It was going to be its own game, but then Miyamoto said that the main character looked like Fox, so they turned it into a Star Fox game, when it probably should have been left as Dinosaur Planet. Great game, just not really much in the vein of Star Fox. Certainly would have benefited the story to keep it Dinosaur Planet. I have with me a slice of bread with bananas on it. And I believe bananas are, technically a berry. because banana trees are actually not trees. They are a giant herb, and the bananas are its berries. I forget where I learned that, but it was not school. I think after the Pikmin stream the other day, well, the initial big problem I had with that was how choppy some of the footage looked. But going over it, I think a lot of that was from whenever I was trying to mess around in other programs while that was running. So, the next time I attempt a GameCube game, I will try to refrain from that. After everything had been left to settle, though, the other, I guess, most annoying issue was probably the screen size for the Pikmin Let's Play. No matter what I did, I could not get it to fill up more of the screen. So, I am currently looking into how to maybe make the screen a better size for future GameCube game playthroughs. But we'll see if I can accomplish that when the next games are Let's Played on the channel. I do have a few GameCube games at my disposal on this computer here. Not sure if I'll play all of them or even any more of them, but they're there as an option. I did see that apparently there is a sale going on Steam right now, and I finally decided in that opportunity to pick up Freedom Planet, which I have always wanted to own. I know I've played it before, and with Freedom Planet, I've played like a couple of levels, but for some reason, whenever I see people play the game, I like know the game. Like, there are parts of it where it feels like I have played it before, even though I've never played the levels they're playing. It's very odd. It's like some psychic link or something. The video game whisperer they call Edward. Yeah, I was working, yesterday was just drawing out this page, which actually went a lot quicker than I thought it would. Normally it takes a couple more hours than it did yesterday. But with how many blacks are on the page here, it's probably gonna take longer to color the black areas in than it did to initially just draw the page. Of course, we have Doko front and center with the claw, two characters that prioritize the color black in their designs. Always such a wonderful time editing when Doko is on screen, and I am really not getting this strand of hair the way I want it to be. Okay. It's gonna be like this. Need to lower the size of the eraser and just go in with the eraser to shave off the part of the hair that I don't want there. One thing that always makes things go quicker for the editing process is to keep your hand, the non-primary hand, on the keyboard and have it over the control key and the Z key while you're drawing with the other hand. That way, you instantly can flip over to undo whatever mistake you did, and then get other keyboard shortcuts for, like, the tools memorized, and you can just slide your fingers across the keyboard instinctively after a while you're drawing to make things go quicker. So, like, when I switch over to the eraser here, I just click Shift-E, and that's eraser. Go back to K, that's the calligraphy pen I use to color with here. Or, I guess, draw lines with. Then Shift-B is the fill-in tool. Go back to K. Yeah, it's just... after enough years of doing it, it's just second nature. You get it down in your head. Like, I don't even think about it, I just do it. You know, I haven't played a Sonic game since Sonic Mania. I didn't play Lost World. I played Sonic Colors, I loved that. I did not like the story. And the script is just annoying as hell. And Sonic Generations was alright, but that's only because it didn't have a story much, which is a point against it to me. I prefer Sonic to have good, well-done stories. But yeah, since it's clearly of the modern era, it might be best for that game not to have a story with, because whenever the characters open their mouths in Generations, it's usually along the lines of the quality of, Colors, which is not what I want. From what I've seen, Sonic Forces does a pretty nice job with its story, but it also makes Amy feel nothing like Amy, and Tails talks about his quote-unquote inconsistent writing, which is just grating to hear, considering the stuff he's talking about in, like, Sonic Forces, where he quote-unquote loses it. It's not even in the Japanese version. It was made up for the American version. It's just... you come for Sonic and Sage in that game. That's about it. Eggman's there. That's the most I can really say for that. Which is kinda sad, because he was always, like, the best character in the series. Then, once it gets into the current generation of games, it's just gets kinda boring. No real, like, standout personality or lines. He's just the grumpy bad guy. Certainly nothing compared to, like, get a load of this. Just his menacing yet hilarious performances. Okay, Shift B, fill in, fill in. This is sort of a passage of time type of music to go along with the creation process here. The seconds turn into minutes, turn into hours, turn into days, turn into years, turn into decades, centuries, millennia, eons. All of it drifting away in the sands of time as they sift past. All in the face of creation, being comprised of what all people do, their efforts and dreams and passion, building and crumbling, being left as markers on the individual's efforts throughout reality. Time spent and what they held dear being created, being left behind as their testament to what they experienced and invented and created. I guess that's the kind of feelings I get from this track. Yes, all the philosophical babblings of some person doodling a comic. Although there is more thought that goes into this little, sometimes humorous comic than one might think. Certainly enough of a scope of time throughout the franchise of my stuff to warrant that type of verbal analysis of the universe. As I've always viewed starting my stuff in the comics here as sort of starting with, like, Dragon Ball GT or Super instead of starting at just Dragon Ball. Kind of starting at the end of the franchise by getting into Doko's stuff. But since that's the stuff that I am first really creating, there's not much choice for the audience, so they have to start here for now. Come up with so much stuff that happens before the comics. I just decided to start with the comics because I always envisioned Barbot and the Freaks, the first parts of the franchise, as being video games. And then when I came up with the comic idea in high school, well, it started as a video game idea. Doko's adventures would have been 3D platformers. Well, most of my stuff started as video game ideas. But eventually, I decided I wanted to attempt making a comic, and Doko's stuff here, it was both on my mind at the time, and felt like it might lend itself better to attempting a comic with than my early stuff from when I was younger. I do intend to get to that stuff I made up when I was younger, but right now Doku's comics take priority over most anything. I guess it's more appropriate to call it the Dreamscape comics, because it's not all necessarily always about Doko, but he is the main character of it. Probably be known better as Dreamscape if I had that, the amount of letters that are, like... DeviantArt only allows a certain amount of letters for the titles of your pieces, so I cannot fit Dreamscape alongside the title of each comic. So whenever you see the word Dreamscape on the DeviantArt pieces that I put up, it's only on the cover pages that I can fit the word Dreamscape onto, like, just plaster it onto the cover. Covers themselves are all watercolor paintings. Not necessarily the best watercolor paintings, but they are paintings like the colored pages of the comic. Normally the comic's in black and white, with just graphite pencil, but we are coming up on the colored pages of this comic in probably 3 or 4 more pages. It's about how many we have left to go before we get to the color. Let me check something here. But we are okay. Yeah, that's running. Yeah, that was one thing that kept messing up the Pikmin stream, I think, is constantly looking over to see that the program, like, the game was still recording. I was only doing that constantly because the game had shut down after I'd been recording for an hour, which lost me quite a bit of days. So I was not too happy about that, so I kept going back to the internet window to make sure it was recording, and every time I came back to the game, I noticed watching through the stream afterwards, that is where a lot of the lag and stuff would happen on the stream. It still happened with or without checking at times, but not that often, I don't think. The worst part was Emperor Bullblax at the end of it, because it's like, I checked it one last time just to be sure it was running for the final boss fight. That ended up, like, completely jittering and lagging the final attack against him, which utterly ruined the defeat of the final boss on the video. It looked fine on my end, but in the video itself, it was very hiccupy and stuff. But you live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn from the works of yesterday. If I animate the final battle of Sonic Adventure 2, I plan to get the Japanese audio for it. Everyone remembers and loves the American audio, partly because of how funny it can be. But the Japanese audio works better with the lip sync and the emotion of the scenes and everything. The adventure games are fun in English, but once you've seen, or at least once I saw, how the Japanese version was, it's like the English version is a pretty standard, not as good foreign dub of it. Like, when 4Kids might dub anime, but not the... I mean, like, the quality of the voice acting directions at times. It's better than 4Kids. I shouldn't say 4Kids. It's not that bad. But once you put it side by side with the Japanese version, the Sonic Adventure games are obviously better performance-wise and emotion and story-wise in the Japanese version. That is mainly what I am trying to say. Although it is a shame to lose the original American Eggman voice for the games. He had so much life to his performance. Yeah, good old Dean Bristow. Him and the Adventures of Robotnik. Forget his name, but I should remember the actor's name. Yeah, those are the two English Robotnik voice actors that are dead at this point. And I know everyone loves the Sad AM Sonic, but I love it, but I also do love the Adventures of Sonic. It's just, that show is so much fun. And that may be the funnest Robotnik there is. Other than that, video game Robotnik is fun, but he is more menacing than Adventures of Robotnik. Like, the video game Eggman is fun to laugh at, but when he is serious, he is dangerous. That is the kind of balance that I want from Eggman in the games. And it's not a balance that usually is able to be done well, it's able to be done. They just don't do it well these days, I don't think. The adventure games and Heroes probably did Eggman the best. Unleashed was alright. It had some moments where it was just, they tried to make a joke, but I'm not feeling it. But other times, it was the last one that really, I think, understood how to do Eggman, character-wise, on any level. No, Colors. That had all the amazing PSA, like, announcements and stuff that Robotnik said there. So, Colors was Colors was the last one that really did Eggman good, despite the various other problems that game has. The characters other than Eggman in it are just annoying, and the story is utter garbage. But Eggman himself is a treat in that game. Forces, he's just hardly even a character, he's just I hate that Sonic. And that's like all there is to him in that game. It's very forgettable. He seems slightly better in Forces, but don't really get much of Eggman in Forces. And at the same time, it does feel like it's carrying on the more stern, boring, serious, quote-unquote, Eggman from what little you get of him. It's more than Forces gave, but it's not enough, I don't think. Yeah, the characters of Forces, obviously Sage is the breakout star there. And hopefully they bring her back. I'm not sure how much one can really expect that, considering that was more of an American-driven game in the series, and the series is primarily Japanese. So, the two different feels might not have her really play a big part again. But it is nice that she was able to survive in a way. A song at the end after, like, where she's singing about leaving and being happy to have experienced the life and everything was always a very sad note to end on. But that's what gives more investment to me than, like, Mario or something. And Sonic, for as good or bad as he can get, is always, like, the more interesting video game series, story-wise. Mario can have all of his stable platforming and whatnot, but as a character, very dull. If you want any, like, actual attachment to the characters, you have to go with the side games normally. I've been tired today. Oh, I found out it's going to be July 4th soon. I had no idea there was a holiday happening. Going through my schedule, doing my comics and Let's Plays and everything that I do. I've lost track of most any sense of time. The only thing I pretty much go by now is, like, the sun, if it's out or if it's not. And that's about it. I only, like, really know that, it's daytime or it's nighttime. Any keeping track of days is, like, completely lost to me most days now. Back on Tuesday, I thought it was Friday. Yeah, just gotta keep working. That is the only thing that, my life is, pretty much. down. Yeah, I went up to the, walked up to the bookstore yesterday. It was very warm out. I think it was in the 80s, upper 80s. Yeah, we got a little meal to eat at the bookstore cafe there. There's always someone there that, seems to want to make a story or something. Talked with somebody that's made a couple of books before there. I've made a cover or two for some stories people have done. Not all that many, but a few of them. Yeah, but to have my comics out there on the shelves, that would be the dream. Maybe someday. I know I've certainly been doing my comics for longer than others have done their stories. I was looking over the, I've got a folder for the remakes I'm going to be doing of my original comics. And, I'd forgotten I made a prologue page for the remake of the first comic, which the first comic does not have a prologue. It was just, I'm making a comic, I'm gonna see where this goes. That's pretty much how the first comic started. Just page 1, there's Doko. With the remakes, I am including a prologue page to start things off for the first comic. And for the remakes, I don't want to really include much in the way of, like, changing things. It's mainly just to make the old issues look more acceptable art-wise. There'll probably be changes to a few dialogue things here and there to make it make a bit more sense sentence-wise and stuff, because I know some of that stuff is not the best writing. And, let's see, makes sense. Oh, the actual words will be bigger, because a lot of those speech bubbles in the old issues of the comic are a bit hard to read because of how small I wrote the dialogue. So I'm going to have to change the size of that a bit. I was reading over comic number 10 for the comics today. It's still a good issue to me. It's the end of the original saga, so it's obviously the best looking of the older comics. Although that's less of an older comic and more of just a more modern comic. People separate things into, like, different eras and stuff, but really with an ongoing series, it all just kind of bleeds together, and it's like little changes over time that you don't really realize as much while reading the thing in order, but once you, like, skip to, like, a later saga and then look back at early sagas, it's like, oh, yeah, that's a lot different than how it's drawn here, or how it's, like, laid out in these comics. And these later panels, the panels in these later comics have a lot better order to them, and things like that. For Dragon Ball, it was just that the art got worse as it went on to me. I wouldn't say it started out as the best, but probably by Red Ribbon, Piccolo Daimyo, Piccolo Jr., in the Saiyan saga, those are probably the best looking. Once it gets to halfway through Namek is when the decline of the art starts for me. Everything just starts looking like it's made out of angles at that point. Very unappealing to me. I much more prefer the more rounded designs and more detailed backgrounds and environments compared to the utter wastelands of nothingness that later parts of the series take place in. I was just drawing there while I was eating and taking a drink. I have never done that on stream before. It's a bit harder to do, because when I'm drawing, I'm concentrating more. And at least with how my head is these days, eating and drinking while drawing is not as easy as just drawing. Although I can talk and draw, that never seems to be much of an issue on stream. Mostly because I have all of this, like, already laid out, and it's not like actually drawing. I'm mainly, like, coloring in areas that are already in front of my face to look at. Unless it's a doodling stream, then it becomes a bit harder to focus on drawing and talking at the same time. But it's never too much of a hassle. Okay, we have listened to this track enough. What else is there?
Fresh produce is the best.
There's an ad. Oh. Let's go with this.
So, I didn't think I
Not that. I hate ads. I really wish YouTube had stayed, completely ad-free as it was before the Google days. Yeah, you can say what you want about Mega Man and bass, but it does at least have this track going for it. Let's switch to live chat there. And no matter the quality of a Mega Man or Sonic game, well, until recently, you can always depend on them for amazing soundtracks. Yeah. Good music in video games was always something I looked forward to. And something that seemed to sort of fade off as the 2000s went on. I got some speed lines behind Doko here to emphasize his run. I do wonder if I'll ever run out of things to say. Would be a dark day. Not having the Edward commentary. That gets rid of part of the reason to even watch things. I should have cut this piece of bread in half, with having to lift the whole slice of bread up. The bananas on it keep wanting to fall off. We have fun here. Oh, and there it fades off before it starts again. Yeah, this isn't the original track, but it is a nice remix that someone made of it. Down, bow, down, bow. The band member of Gorillaz, Noodle, is 6 days younger than me, canonically. Growing up, when I first saw the Gorillas back in, like, what, 2001? I didn't know if Noodle was a... Like, I didn't know she was a girl. I just thought it was the cute guitar player that was the kid of the group. Obviously, as it went on, it became very apparent what her gender was. But in that first phase, it was a bit harder to tell for me. Alright, I think that panel's done. There's so much black to fill in on this page, which I guess makes up for the shorter drawing time for this page. Yeah, ta ta ta. Yeah, just trying to judge how wide to make the characters in the stands up here compared to the characters in the foreground down here. We'll go with that for that character. I guess we'll go with that size. And we will move on to a remix of a VVV track by Subculture Records. Oh, this is probably making me think of Doko infiltrating some airborne base flying through the clouds is I think what this music track is making me think right now. Remixes of video game music have always been pretty cool to me. A lot of times they help to elevate them to even greater heights than the original in-game tracks do. Yeah, with a remix, though, you don't necessarily know every direction the remixed music is going to take. So when you're trying to hum along to it, you may mess up every so often. Although that happens even in normal tracks for me sometimes. I think the first cover of a song... Well, no. I've probably heard covers of songs all throughout my life, if you're counting, like, old folk songs, but first cover that I know of a song that I heard was Move On Up, which was covered by The Jam. I forget what the original band that made the song was. Hello, Daniel. How are you doing? We're working on page 63 of the comic here. Listening to a remix of a VVV track. One that makes me think of Doko infiltrating some airborne base flying through the clouds. Right now, though, Doko is just fighting the Claw. That is what we are continuing to draw about. It's probably gonna be the longest fight of the comic so far. Oh, and do remember, after the Pikmin video, to move your timeline bar to the far right to make sure you are caught up with everything. This page is gonna be showing Doko getting more annoyed than he has been during the fight so far. Yeah, I was reading the 10th comic earlier today of the series, and I'd almost forgotten, like, that's the final comic of the first saga, and I almost forgot that Rascal and Sprite Diabolical show up at the end of that as the bad guys, because the main conflict is about the king of the Gorgoks, so reaching him is kind of the final boss battle, and then the Diabolic Angels come in at the very end as, like, just sort of this afterwards challenge, trying to take advantage of the situation to get Doko. I should try making the Secret of Kel's music video I've had in mind at some point. Well, I hope IKEA was good, Daniel. I hope you found everything you were looking for. I know that the SCP has a sort of horrific type of entry about an IKEA store that goes on forever. It has, like, entire societies that have formed inside of it out of people that have gotten lost there and used the supplies to make their shelters with and everything. There's, like, faceless IKEA workers that won't do anything during the day, but at night will attack people. Yeah, the battle on Gorgok Mountain, the 10th comic of the Dreamscape comics, is probably still one of my favorites of the series so far. It is sort of what the first saga was leading up to, so it makes sense that it's as climactic as it is. Right now, we are at the plot point that the tournament stuff was leading up to. Yeah, the King of the Gorgoks was a very tough opponent, but the Claw here is also a pretty tough opponent. At the least, he is very effective at dodging and countering things. Ah.
This is my comeback.
I don't care, get off my screen. Just switching up the music here. There we go. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Switch back over to the comic. Okay. Once you get the window that has the video playing off of the screen, it helps to let the other program that you have on the stream run better. At least on my computer. I'm sure there's a lot more effective computers out there that I do not know how to modify this to be like, that can handle various different things. Nope, nope. Don't fill it in black there. Yeah, I just flipped over to the fill-in tool out of instinct, and then I remembered I hadn't filled in this line over here first. Okay, now we switch to the fill-in. Just a quick click of my fingers that I'm not using for the drawing, and it just flips to whatever I want, because I have the key commands for different tools memorized. That way there's no, like, seamless break, so I can be, like, drawing and then, draw, switch eraser, switch back, draw, switch eraser. Yeah, it just keeps going in a nice steady pace and flow. Yeah, the last few years I've just been creating so much stuff that all the ways to get to the tools without, like, actually moving over to the tools and selecting them have been sort of burned into my brain. Thankfully, that's not one of the things that I seem to be able to forget. Although it gets a bit confusing once you bring the Flash animation program into the mix, and that has different commands for the tools that I needed to learn. And when you flip back and forth between the two programs, it gets a bit jumbled in your head at times. But I haven't been needing to animate anything the last few weeks, so we've been okay. If anyone would like an animation, I am always available for commissions. Guess I could put the link to my gallery in the description. My Patreon and Discord's down there all the time, but I don't think my gallery is. Ah. Get the bread with banana away. Don't want to set my arm down on my food. I'm probably gonna make some soba noodles later. Probably chop up some Napa cabbage and onion to go with it. And make a little soup for it to sit in out of soy sauce, sriracha, and brown sugar. It's always a combination I find pretty nice. How to cook with Edward18. Well, you see, first you take the dragon's head and snap it off the body. Then you boil the bones with the meat for 17 hours. I did quite like the sandwich I got at the bookstore yesterday. Yeah, the waitress there was talking about this story that she had wanted to make. And, she said her mom had said that she could draw it for her if she wanted, but she told the mom that, no, I think I know a guy that eats here a lot that might know a bit about it. Obviously that was me. I think it was a story she was wanting to do about, like, the zoo around here or something. And then the other day, that was when I was talking to the guy that was, has made a few books. I think he's retired, but he's still doing stuff. Plays the bongos to make money on the side. But I think he's working on a story right now that he intends to do a play of. He's done a play of it already, but he, like, wants, he's looking for, like, an illustrator to do the book. Something like that. We talked for probably around an hour, I'd say. Doko, why can you not be quicker to fill in the blacks of... I don't know, Edward. Why can you not figure out a faster way to do all this? Because I'm working on my own, don't have anyone to really help. And there's never been any guide that I've found to do the comics to the way that I want them done. So it's all just stuff I've sort of cobbled together as I've gone. I don't think there is a universal way to do comics. It's always what the creator ends up evolving into as they make it. Yeah, with how this is going, I doubt that I'm going to show, like, the entire fill-in and color-in all the white lines left over afterwards process of this page. This is a bit lengthier to do, I think, coloring-wise than the previous page was. And being that I am stuck as a human, I will require the break and having to get off eventually to go keep my body sustained. To any aliens watching, that is code for I will have to go eat eventually. Or I guess, future sentient robots. Yeah, the things I wish I could eliminate are the need to eat and sleep. If I had the option to do them, I'd want that, but to need to do them gets in the way of so much stuff. And Doko is, lifting his arm up in the back to prepare the strike that he is going to make against the claw. There's a bit of action on this page. Being that the claw has insisted that Doko fight instead of calling out all his attack names and doing all the flashy type of tournament type of stuff. Yeah, I wanted these top panels here to play sort of like one continuous camera pan, where Doko starts here and, like, hits the ground with his hand in annoyance or whatever. And that starts him into his running. The camera pans to the side as he's running forward, and then it would stop when it gets to the back of him and shows him running at the claw. It's kind of what I wanted to portray with the top panels of this page. Ba-da-da-da-dum. Ba-dum. Ba-da-da-da-dum. Ah. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, I have no idea how certain streamers can just, like, keep streaming for days and days and days. The Pikmin stream, like, in total, with both parts combined, since, like, I really didn't stop there, I just didn't realize it wasn't recording, and, like, restarted the recording of it after I realized it stopped. I was there doing Pikmin for like about 6 hours, so or over 6 hours. So combining the two parts together, that is the longest stream I have ever done, at least so far. I'm not one that ever intends to do, like, huge, ginormous streams, unless I get, like, the funding to keep myself financially stable while doing that stuff. Because that's, like, dedicating huge chunks of your day to that. Obviously would not be really doable if you have, like, a normal job or anything. Yeah, I'm not sure how Jaden can manage, like, the types of streams she does. She streamed for like 3 or 4 weeks or something in a row. And I felt I kinda had to do an animation of her when she started that up. If I remember correctly, the final cameo that Stan Lee made was on the Teen Titans Go movie, which is kinda sad. Just in general. Personally, I found a lot of his cameos just be kind of annoying and interrupt the story of the movies, but some of them were cute. But to go out with Teen Titans Go, that's a bit of, kinda underwhelming. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's his final role. Alright, we're done with the top panels. Well, Mom and her sister will be visiting here in, think about 10 days. So I'm probably going to be not really streaming for a week or so once it gets to like a week and a half after today. Hopefully that will not disappoint too many people, but I kinda doubt it will. Not exactly a Markiplier or anything. Doubt anyone's really gonna notice my absence. I remember when Markiplier was starting out. He was, kinda just some guy to me. Guys like him and PewDiePie were not at all the Let's Players that I valued that much. I was into more guys like, not Deceased Crab too often, but he did do some decent Let's Plays from time to time. Cypheron48 was one that I always loved. Cloud8745 was pretty good in the old days, but a bit too overblown and dramatic at times. And he got a bit too personal feeling with how he talks sometimes. His I Wanna Be the Guy Let's Play, though, is like, I think the first Let's Play I ever saw. And of course, there's Saran Lionheart. Had just the most ridiculously over-the-top voice and way of talking in his videos. Once PewDiePie came onto the scene, a lot of Let's Plays just became unwatchable to me, because it all just ended up being people screaming and stuff constantly. It was really, really annoying. I was never really into Chugga Conroy. Give me Doc Future any day of the week, I'll watch him forever. I've thought of drawing the members of my Discord before, but I'm not sure what anyone should look like outside just the general idea for people like Shadow the Cartoonist and Bowyer and stuff. I probably want people to submit what they look like in their own drawings before I would take any attempt at that, if I would even do that. There's no guarantee at all that I would do it. That's just what I would probably prefer for if I did do it ever. I do know, there is one way that I always drew one of the members of the Discord, but that was years before I had the Discord. That was because they were a character that was going to be in my Xeno Hunter video game. Though I'm not sure if that's how they would want to be drawn in a group picture. But it's how I always drew them. Was sort of a Quadraxis head from Metroid Prime 2 on top of, like, the light suit's body. And then I put, like, sunglasses in front of the skull socket eyes. Yeah, they're going to be in the game if it ever ends up getting made.
Listen.
And I am out of food. I think this song is like a secret song in VVV. Yeah. 3DS version of the game is what this is from. Hmm. guess a few indie games ended up showing up on the 3DS. 2000s indie games. Companies try to cash in on the indie game scene these days, but companies themselves, I don't think, quite understand indie games that well. Not usually. Indie stuff is always the most pure way of, I guess, experiencing something. A type of medium, because with the indie stuff, it's always the pure passion of the creator. Even if it's utter garbage, it'll still have the passion of them trying to do the thing behind it. Can't exactly say that for a lot of more corporate type stuff. Doko's fist just flies right past the claw's face. Close, but no cigar. But Doko was probably anticipating the first dodge. Kinda be a letdown if after all that the claw just got hit right there after the first punch. Now my ear is itching. I'm not sure why. I can feel the summer heat right now. Which would make it very uncomfortable to keep doing this stream if I did not have the air conditioning going. I've wanted to make a video game about, like, YouTube before, YouTube, the internet, I guess the culture of what the internet has become. I know I've thought of scenarios before where the final boss is, like, comprised of and using all sorts of memes and stuff as attacks and everything. Pretty much be just this bombastic, silly type of final fight. Although as the fight would progress, the boss, this core of the boss, would end up ripping itself out of the back of the boss to try and get away in the final phase. And be sort of an implication that it's the, what has formed out of the internet media landscape, this sort of entity that feeds on the just utter absurdity of the internet. And that which sorta holds everything together. Gotta avoid the speed lines when coloring here. Want them to be noticeable enough amidst the blackness. Uh, people... It's always hard, like, with the idea of a meme boss battle and stuff, it's hard to really pin down what to use for it, because with things like memes, you have no idea what is going to remain relevant and in the consciousness enough for future generations to understand what is going on in the boss fight. Really, what it is it's pop culture just amplified to its, like, most sort of surface layer dangling keychain in front of a baby's face type of level. That's what memes sort of feel like. First time I heard the word memes was in Metal Gear Solid 2, but that is not at all what memes are on the internet. When people play the game, they equate it to that, but it was from a period before memes were like a thing that was talked about on the internet. And they retroactively apply how the term is used on the internet to portray that Metal Gear and, like, Revengeance and Metal Gear Solid 2 are about that, when they absolutely are not. But I know that does not fall in line with the humor or what people perceive as irony for those games. When you're actually listening to the story and stuff, it's pretty obvious what it is. It's the passage of ideas instead of genetics as your legacy. That's what the term meme is in regards to Metal Gear, kind of. Yeah, they did not turn Twitter into a plot point, really. It's just sorta transplanting the internet mentality into those games. Metal Gear Solid 2 absolutely has to do with the internet, and had some pretty unsettling implications for the future at the time, with what it was dealing with, and also what has ended up happening since that game came out. That it was not at all dealing with, like, meme pictures and videos and stuff, just the general idea of memes. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1 was jeans as the theme, Solid 2 is memes, Solid 3 is scene, and Solid 4... I forget what they say. They always try to make it with an "een" as the ending of the word to keep it going as, like, a running thing, but Solid 4 is about what the older generation, I guess, will do and stuff with like Snake not really saying anything about his situation. He just keeps doing what he's supposed to as a way to pass on his learned experience by exposing others to it before he dies. And well, those memes would certainly pop up in the the main boss battle idea that I had, Ballier. And Metal Gear Solid is sort of, it's definitely what Kojima's remembered for. I would say Metal Gear 2, though, is where the series actually starts in terms of quality storytelling before Metal Gear Solid. Then Metal Gear Solid is just kind of a copy of Metal Gear 2 at a lot of parts. It's just since people in America did not really play Metal Gear 2, they don't really know that until they maybe go back and play it later. Yeah, the Metal Gear Solid series a lot of times just felt like Kojima doing the exact same game over and over again, like game-wise, and putting different stories onto those mechanics and layout and stuff. There are times where it becomes more unique in the individual titles, but all of them have like things that they borrow from each other. It's like poetry. It rhymes. It's just another way of saying, like, history repeats itself, which, I view as, the people making Metal Gear as just a lazy excuse to keep redoing the same thing over and over. Love Yoji Shinkawa's art, though. I will never get tired of seeing his illustrations for the series. That man is a master. Well, I do know, Ballier, that there was an element that was, like, I think named after Dr. Robotnik. And, I think there's one that was named after Sonic. They're like elements that relate to each other, and the scientists that found them named them after those characters. So there is a bit of pop culture that seeps into the more serious studies sometimes, but I highly doubt we will get the Troll Face Polymer or Peppa Pig in Zemos or anything. Yes, that atom smashing was absolutely poggers. And Doku's getting a bit more frantic looking here. One eye small, one eye big. Kinda Earthworm Jimmy in that sense, but if it were Earthworm Jim, there'd be a small pupil in the big eye. But we're just gonna color the big eye completely black. And I'm going to ignore filling in the blacks for the stands up here for right now. I want to focus on like getting the actual characters done, so this actually we can see more get done on stream in a timely manner. I always hope that YouTubers have all their videos saved that they've made, but I know a lot of them probably, or I know absolutely a lot of them do not. It's always sad to me to see so many years of work just fall away into nothing if things get shut down or taken down. No way of recovery, no way of preserving. Gave this guy up here a nice big ol' mustache. Not had all that many people with big facial hair in the audience. Figured it'd be good to slap a few and mix up the diversity. I know Grokky has some, but he's only shown up like one time in the audience. With the people he's sitting with, you'll probably focus more on Monk and Junk than him. I am going to find a different music track to play. I've listened to this one for quite a while. Whatever. No. What do I want to play? I could do that one. Let's see here. Okay. How's about... Oh, this guy always does nice stuff. Yeah, we'll do this one. This is a 16-bit remix of Aquatic Mind. Might be a bit too loud, so let's turn it down a tiny bit. It's not as interesting without the lyrics. Hey Shadow, I'm doing okay. How are you doing? We're just working on page 63 here and listening to a 16-bit remix of Aquatic Mind. How has your day been going? Have you been up to anything? You have work today? You have a free day? Oh, well, that is, just how I always sound, I think. My body is a tired machine. Wait, Twitter's... Oh. I thought you meant Twitter, like, physically was destroyed. What all happened there today? There's always some drama going on with that place. See if he's got a different video. That's Meteor Herd. Oh, okay. We'll go with this one for now. Well, why the hell would Mr. Musk do that? I am not really seeing the logic in limiting how many posts you can see there. That seems like an issue that will eventually end up having to be flipped backwards, and not really sure why he would be doing that unless he aims to literally, like, kill any investment people have in the website. Yeah, Elon does not seem like the most reliable person for running things. It probably would be best for him if he, like, just never ever touched Twitter. He has had so much go wrong and so many people leave him over the whole thing. Oh. Well, you leaving Twitter, isn't that going to get in the way of how things are going with the production of your own little project there? Well, I used to go on Newgrounds quite a bit, but I don't think I ever had an account there. And now that Flash is gone, I'm not sure what the site is even like over at Newgrounds. That was always the bastion of hope for Flash animators. See a lot of people in the Creative Block podcasts talk about their old days on Newgrounds. It's where a lot of animators in modern times seem to have gotten their start. Yeah, I figured you wouldn't just abandon Twitter. Especially since the Clown Princess is still there. Yeah, no, I probably should have made some account on Newgrounds at some point, given what I do, but yeah, I just guess I never did. Once YouTube came around, it kind of put a dampen on, like, all of those websites, because it's like, well, now you can put all your videos in one place, and you don't have to go into that war between, like, Newgrounds and E-Bomb's World and Albino Black Sheep. Oh, does she have a Discord of her own, or is it just a personal friend request thing you guys have? Yeah, Newgrounds. I should check it out at some point. I'm sure there has to be some changes to the site from when I used to go on it. I do remember they had a few school shooter games that caused a bit of controversy on there. Both by the same guy, I think. Well, you also don't know probably how much she even uses Discord, I'd assume. Yeah, whenever I start up on a new site, I have an idea of trying to post older stuff, but then it just sort of fades into the background as I just make more stuff with what I'm always doing. And then it just usually ends with me like, oh, well, I could put this stuff up, but I have these new things I can put up. And usually the newer stuff just ends out winning out. Which reminds me, I need to put up some of the flash bits of the Zim animation on the DeviantArt account. Since I just moved on to whatever was next after that, I had parts chopped up to put on DeviantArt, but it ended up, like, just sort of getting left in their folder, because I just ended up getting distracted by the next comic page and whatever other picture I was doing. Yeah, but after, in a week and a half, Mom and her sister are visiting, and I'll probably be having to put the streams on pause for a couple of weeks with that going on. Hopefully I can still be getting stuff made on a fairly regular basis, but we will have to see. I'm sure the audience would love a little Mama Edward interview, but I do not see that happening. Yeah, as long as I can keep working on stuff, it doesn't matter as much if the streams are going. And I'm sure the people that watch my stuff, like, being created, are always going to be around to wanna see more whenever they start up again after that. Now, I know people like you and Bowyer will always be around for the stuff I make. Masasa also, but she has her own things she does, so she's not always there every day. Well, not every day for everybody, just as frequently. And of course, there's her little war with handgun that they have all the time. Fill that in. Yeah, it's nice to have these shortcuts for the tools memorized in my head. While I'm drawing, I can keep my other hand on the keyboard to flip right over to eraser, back to drawing, back to eraser. It makes things go steady. Yeah, that Discord server I've got is, I never thought that many people would be on it, as not all of them do stuff all the time, but just seeing that many names on the right side of the screen is always kind of astounding to me. And people do like to make use of the story idea section and the art section. I'm going to try to figure out how to get the screen to be of a more proper size before the next GameCube Let's Play I do. It was nice to be able to Let's Play Pikmin, but I wanted it at a, take up more of the screen there. Oh, I guess if you're going to get going in a while, Shadow, we can show you the full page, although you have access to the full page on the Patreon, so this might be a moot point, but here is how the page will look. You got Doko annoyedly slapping the ground as he breaks into a run. The camera pans to the side as he's running, and by the time it gets to his back, he is already, at the claw. Claw keeps dodging. Oh, that was not what I wanted. Yeah, there we go. Keeps dodging, and Doko just keeps getting more and more aggravated. Now he can't hit him. Got a lot of speed lines and action in this one. Yeah, but then we, gotta get back to actually working on it here. Zoom into 100. I don't know if I've ever, like, animated a run cycle for Doko or not. I was animating him running a few years ago when I was trying to animate the, intro sequence to the comics for, like, a theme song, and, well, not a theme song, the theme music for the series. But I didn't stick with it long enough for it to really become anything. It's time that could be spent actually working on the comics. And also, I don't have, like, the theme music for the comics or the series composed, so I didn't have that to, like, put the action along to the beat of. The most I could do is, like, make a version with mouth noises, and that's the quickest way I could compose that. Yeah, if it were a series, the opening would change, like, every saga to reflect the different events and characters taking part in those sagas. It's one thing I did not mention in my Dragon Ball review that has always annoyed me is, they have never shown the second opening of Dragon Ball in America. And I know it's because they couldn't get, like, a version of the opening without the credits over it, but it was always so magical seeing that on the final episode we had of the old VHS tape recordings. It's like where Krillin dies for the first time is where the introduction changes. Yeah, it's got, like, images of Piccolo Daimyo and stuff, and Shadow and everything in the opening for that. Yeah. No. The, Dreamscape opening, I've got it thought out, it's just, have not had the time to work on it. Yeah, I was, reading the 10th comic of Dreamscape earlier today. That's one that I always like to go back to. It's not as well drawn as these issues have been, but it is more refined than the earlier comics of the first saga. And seeing, like, the first pages I ever did in color, which is where the fight against the Gorgok King happens, is really awesome after, like, the entire series has been in black and white up to that point. And actually having red for the blood instead of black and stuff, it adds a bit more flair to it. Hope I don't die. Meteors coming my way. On Eggman's face. Yeah, people always talk about the Knuckles levels of Sonic Adventure 2 as being, like, terrible and stuff. I personally never understood that, because I loved them. And it was, like, always ridiculously easy to find all of the, like, emeralds and everything in them to me. Just a nice open world to explore and collect things in. Adventure 2 I usually view as better than Adventure 1. Like, Adventure 1 is a great time, and it does have more open world-ishness to it at parts. But overall, Adventure 2 feels like more of a refinement on it. Then Sonic Heroes just throws all that out the window and just goes back to basics. What Heroes has going for it is that, it's the game after the classics that feels like it captures the aesthetic of the classics the most. Just these large but detailed, cartoony things. When they try to mimic the classic stuff, when Sega is heading it, Mania does it good, but when Sega themselves are doing it, it feels more like poking fun at the classic stuff and not making it as lively and vivid as it should be. Which just comes across more as annoying compared to how things like Mania handle it to me. Oh. Oh, there we go. Actual, proper instruments for this. And head back into the Paint program. Years ago, I had ideas for Sonic Adventure 3 thought out. They are on my DeviantArt, but I didn't put all them up. I did totally call that the Chaos Emeralds were from outer space, though. Years and years before Sonic Forces or Sonic Frontiers revealed that. I don't know what it is, but I seem to be able to, at times, figure things out. Or, well, that isn't figuring things out, that's just coming up with it before the people making the stuff come up with it, but the things that I make up sometimes seem to be what happens in the official stuff eventually. Like, the implications of Sorry in Transformers Animated having to do with Vector Sigma and, the Chaos Emeralds being from, like, space and stuff. It's always a weird feeling that I get whenever that happens to line up with what I've created before. It might just come with, like, creating stuff and getting a feel for how stories are told and everything, but it feels cool and odd, like you've predicted something. Yeah, Sorry is probably the human-ish character from Transformers that I've drawn the most. The others would be probably Jack and Miko. I've done Dr. Arkevil a few times. He'd become more of a villain in my stuff behind the scenes as things went on if I did Transformers. Okay. It's gonna be a lot of audience to, like, color in later on, but I'm not focusing on them on the stream here. Ooh. Oh well, I hope you have a fun-filled evening, Shadow. I'm sure this page will be fully done by the time you see it next. Make that money. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be streaming for too terribly much longer. I intend to get all of Doko and the Claw here filled in, though. Here's a pleasant little Doko face to end your time here off with. Drew all his individual teeth in that one. Showing the blueness of his eyes, not just coloring it all the way black. Although since it's a black and white page, I guess I should say the whiteness of his eyes. Yeah, Doko has blue eyes, and Stacy has orange eyes. It matches the colors of their outfits. I think I've only drawn the color of Doko's eyes like 2 or 3 times total. Normally he's a black and white comic character, as are all the other characters. Although I guess Mech's skin is brown, so his skin is like, he's a gray comic character when I do the black and white pages. His clothes are, well, his pants are gray because they're navy bluish, and his shirt is white because it is like just red. White helps to contrast against the gray. And if we released a black and white only version of the comics and made the colored pages grayscale, it would probably give the characters all sorts of different tones of gray, as like the colors that are making up their like characters and stuff. But since it's just black and white on the black and white pages on the internet, and color on the others, you only get white and gray skin for the characters. And there's not really much of issues of race, I don't think, ever touched upon in the comics much. Not for, like, the normal Earthlings. Because by that point, it's like there is no race from our time period that's left. Other than Mech, who is technically American. Well, take care of yourself, Shadow. Enjoy that, that labor you're off to. Now, the issues of race in the comics come more from, like, the conflict between mechanical people and organic Earthlings. The issues that arise with more sentient mechanical citizens and corporations creating machines to do things and trying to have things set up for all machines to be in use for the service of others type of thing. That type of racial conflict. Though it's not something that's really been addressed in the comics so far. It's not really been an element that has lent itself to the adventures that have taken place thus far. Yeah, the mechanical people of the world that are like sentient and everything, can make decisions on their own and stuff, they are called biobots. They are, they're essentially machines that have souls, is what they basically boil down to. They have, like, enough of a bioessence reading that they have individuality and stuff. That type of thing. Every living thing in the universe of Doko's comics has a bioessence reading. It's what you can sort of think of as, like, the soul of a character. And the more free will and more intricate thinking that machines perform determines, like, they have more of a bioessence reading the more mentally capable they are. It's a bit of an more spiritual type of discussion, I guess. Let us move off of Meteor Herd. How about this? One of the final levels of Freedom Planet. It sort of combines the main Freedom Planet music with Lord Brevin's theme. Yeah, it's a pretty intense, frantic theme for one of the final levels of the game. We'll color all this, but leave open this block here as a piece of debris that is flying up beyond Doko's foot in front of it. Yeah, when you have an impact to something, at least for me, I always make there be, like, all this debris that comes up from it to portray the energy of what is happening. Even if it's just, like, little black specks, it's still something that gives an indication that there is a crash going on. Yeah, there's no way that I'm finishing this page on stream. My body cannot handle being without food right now for that long. Yeah, I'll see about maybe changing that hair, those strands of hair up a bit in the future. Get some black along with inside the speed lines here. You can't have it all black, otherwise the speed lines lose their effect. The motion gets compromised by the solidness of the objects. Ugh. Ow. Ouch. Ow. Ugh. That shadow is right, I am tired. That is... I'm always in a state of perma wanting to sleep. But I can't sleep, because then my body'll hurt when I get up and I'll be in agonizing, searing pain. Yeah, I've always just been a sleepy person with everything that I work on. No time for sleep. Gotta get things created. Fill in black. Goggles here. Turn up the dispenser here. Yeah, this track is nice, but it's a bit short compared to others. We should probably switch it out for another that's more elongated. Okay, we can do this one. Yeah, Freedom Planet 2 doesn't have as many good tracks as Freedom Planet 1 to me, but it has some nice ones here and there. Although the best tracks are usually just remixes from the first game. Which this might be. I'd have to listen to both games again. Yeah, Freedom Planet 2 had some, well, I guess Freedom Planet 1 and 2 had aspects of, like, treasure games in them at times. But I'm just thinking of, like, the giant robot battle, I think it was sort of Sparkster inspiration, or Rocket Knight. Freedom Planet, the biggest surprise to me was like all the voice acting. Was not expecting that from a 16-bit looking side-scroller. I wouldn't have it any other way, but it is very unexpected at first. Yeah, Doko's other arm here is just going back behind his head, so you can't really see it. Let's see, I guess I'll divide a line between parts of the Claw's Eye here. That way it can show the speed line is going through it. Or, yeah, I'll leave it like that, at least for now. I can always edit it if I change my mind afterwards. My apologies for all the yawning. If I had a normal body, it might not be as I, in general, might not be as yawny of a person. Let's fill in the bits of the hat here between the speed lines. Yeah, there's so many speed lines going on in this picture here. And when you have characters that have black on them and need to be, like, filled in like I do it becomes a bit more complex to figure out just what to leave white and black in all the speed line stuff. And now my stomach is growling, which puts a bit of a time limit on our activities here. Nah. Turn off commercials. We do not care for commercials. I believe this is from the lava level of Freedom Planet 2. Or one of the lava levels, if there is more than one. Though I kinda doubt there is. Let's see, is the hat... The hat should have a tiny piece visible there. That way it encompasses the full width of the claw's head at the top. With the speed lines, it also becomes more studious that you have to be to keep track of what is the right size between the speed lines and stuff. And here we got Doko with his mouth open before he swipes into here with his teeth clenched and the action being performed, giving a little either shout or naturally opening the mouth in preparation for the action that is taking place in the left image. Oh, that's why this is going more slowly. I had it still on the video screen. when you have the video screen for YouTube off, the program works smoother. The streaming program, or no, the paint program, which is GIMP. I don't need to color that black, that's already colored black on the graphite. We've got a couple of dokos in this picture. The wonders of trying to portray motion in a still image. It's this, it's animating that can help to understand how to do motion in comics. Now, if this were an animation, I would probably combine these two dokos together into one image that passes by super quick when you have it played alongside the other frames of animation. Or give the idea of motion, but it'd be too quick for the eyes to really realize that it's two images of Doko instead of two different movements that are going by in the couple of milliseconds that it normally would think that it's going by in. Okay. Well, I'm glad that Shadow alerted me to that Twitter thing that's going on. That is a very bizarre decision by Elon, but that's I guess not out of the realm of normalcy with his way of doing things. I have a feeling that whatever causes me to be as tired as I am is, something inside my body that's probably blocking certain nutritions or hormones from properly flowing to the places they're supposed to be at. That would be my guess for what contributes to that matter. But it is also because I work all the time. Like, anytime I'm awake, I'm doing something. Put on the internet. I gotta yawn again. Okay, now this tune is getting a bit redundant.
YouTube music is a
I don't care about YouTube music. Shut up. Hey, not that. Let's see here. How's about this? Yeah, we'll go with this. This is a more ambient track. Bit of a haunting track. I could see it being used in like some fog-filled graveyard type setting. Hopefully I'm getting the speed lines good enough on this image of the claw. It's hard to tell without seeing it at full opacity. Cannot stop yawning. Well, this might be a bit too low ambient. Might have to switch to something else. See what else we got on here. Okay. Hopefully this'll be good enough for my standards. Yeah, I wouldn't rate this as the most impressive Ed commentary ever, but it's better than some days. Of course the song, it helps with talking instead of me just humming along to it. Yeah, the problem with talking while having music going in the background is sometimes you just wanna put your voice along to the music or just think about the music instead of talking. And with how my brain is by this point, talking requires effort to actually think about the sentences. I assure you that if this were a year or so ago, well, it wouldn't be the best, but it would be of better consistent quality commentary from me without a script. I always like this piano part of this tune. So many speed lines here. Oh. Come on, Edward. Keep working. Keep going. You can't quit yet. You are not dead. You gotta keep that stylus on the tablet. I will be happy to get some food, because since I ran out a little bit ago for what I brought over to have and eat while I was working. So how about that weather? It is getting warmer out there. I always preferred the cold to the heat. A lot of people always go, oh, I can't stand the heat, I wish it were winter. And then when it's winter, go, oh, I can't stand this cold, I wish it was hot. And it's, for me, it's more of, no, if it's cold, I'm fine. I don't need that heat. Although I can tan in the sun, I do not care for the burning. It's, I much more prefer the air conditioning. My ideal day is probably around 50 to 60 degrees. And fall leaves trickling down around you as you pass under the trees. I've just never liked the heat. Commentate, Edward. This is very dead air here. Granted, it has a nice trumpety tune playing in the background, but that can only get you so far. Although it is what I have playing in case I can't think of things to say at times, so that the audience is not left in silence. So I guess it's not really dead air. It's just non-commentated air. I keep, there's a channel that I watch sometimes that reviews the Archie Sonic comics. I think they're called Coombs and Goomba or something. And they haven't updated in a while. I keep waiting for them to put out a new video. But if they do, that's their choice. I just wish I could get more of them, because I do quite enjoy them. Same with any YouTuber that I like that doesn't like update regularly, as if I'm one to talk about that. Although I doubt there's all that many people that really care much about what I upload. But yeah, I know there are some people that like from like doing these streams and interacting with people. But it's not like I'm in the higher echelon of like Jaden or even someone like Illy Animations or anything. I do wish I had a team helping me sometimes, just for speed's sake, but at the same time, doing everything on my own, I'm in complete control of what I want everything to look like animation-wise. That is something that I do not know if I'd really be the most comfortable with giving up. But once you get into, like, production of big projects, you gotta sacrifice some things that you'd prefer to have in order to get things working in a timely manner. You don't want to be working on something, like, for 50 years and have it come out, like, when no one even knows what the thing is anymore. Or maybe you do. It probably depends on the creator. I wouldn't probably want that to be the case. But at the same time, I do want things done as best as possible to my standards, so it's sort of a trade-off. It is time that you have to determine if you want to sacrifice to make things look even better. It's all about whatever quality and subject matter is acceptable to the individual doing the creation. Okay, fill in the arm down here. I guess we reached the end of that track, and now it's repeating itself. Well, that's just fine by me. I quite enjoy this track. It's like an old, maybe 60s anime robot hero type of theme. I guess would make sense given what it comes from. Yeah. Edward, how do you survive with the type of exhaustion that you are always feeling? Well, you see, you ignore it. And that way, you don't have to think about it. You just keep on with your stuff. Oh, if I made Dreamscape into a game, Daniel, the initial idea of Dreamscape started as a game, as with any idea I had back then. The Freaks, well, Barbot, the first adventure of the world Doko's stuff takes place in, was going to be a side-scroller. And then The Freaks, which is like the sequel series that Barbot leads into, was a 3D platformer series. And then Doko's stuff was a 3D platformer as well in the early concepts of it. But I ended up going with a comic once I decided to take an attempt at a comic and figured Doko's stuff would be probably the most suitable material to make a comic about. And then I just never stopped and just kept telling the stories I was going to tell in the platformer series of Doko as comics. And then, I planned to have, I'm not sure how I'd do it, but I had always planned if I ended up releasing the comics in a physical form to send out to like special donors or Kickstarters or whoever. They would get like a copy of a game that I would make of Doko that would be a side-scroller where you would play through adventures, or at least one adventure from the first saga of the comics to go along with the release of the physical release of the first comic. That would have you able to switch between Doko, Mech, and Tesley, and maybe the Hawker. Probably not the Hawker, but Doko, Mech, and Tesley at the push of a button. Like, you would press a button, and it would, like, there'd be an explosion of smoke, and afterwards the next character that you could switch to would be standing there and controllable. And those are the ideas I've had for games of Doko's stuff. Yeah, the universe that Doko's stuff takes place in all mostly stems from video game ideas that I had. Xeno Hunter, I intend for that to always be a video game. I suppose that's also where some of the fourth wall type jokes come from in earlier comics of Doko's stuff, is the whole video game feel of it, where like you see Doko running along from an overhead view and it's like Pac-Man and stuff. Things like that. Yeah, I'm quite prone to enjoying platformers, so a lot of times that is the genre that I went with when it came to video game ideas. The Final Evolution is a survival horror, a side-scroller survival horror, because I had hardly ever seen that type of genre done in side-scrolling. Oh, that's not what I wanted to click. What is this? Get off my screen. Stop. I said to stop. There you go. Okay, get this off my screen. Okay, there we go. All nice and back in control. Okay. Well, since I'm on air, I may as well switch the music again now. Oh, Vernius is playing Pikmin. There we go. No, Yeah, everyone loves a good Haven City walk. Like this. Okay, there we go. And then go here. And here. Back into the comic. And click off the video area so that it doesn't lag my program while I'm working. Yeah, Jak and Daxter. That was a game that I could not believe how amazing it looked. I was just thinking, wow, video games can look this good when I first played it. I always wish that they'd make a Jak 4. I know they've had ideas for it before, but it never quite looks right Jak-wise. And if it doesn't, it shouldn't probably be made, in my opinion. But at the same time, I've waited for Jak 4 for so long. And I know it's never gonna happen, not with how Naughty Dog is now. But at least it had its time to shine. And it got enough of an ending compared to what it could have had. Is a very epic final conflict at the very end. Yeah, hearing some PS2 music tracks brings you back to a time where you're playing quietly on your system. More of an adventure going on than you'd get from something like in Atari or anything. A more personal, adventurous experience than the more broadcasted, online, constant media presence that there is today. I guess this foot works as both this Doko's foot and this Doko's foot. Kinda combines down there in the speed line blurring. Okay, and then just one more picture of Doko after this one, and then I'm going to get off to eat. Because I am hungry. A slice of bread with banana is not enough to satiate you forever. We'll end off working on this very aggravated looking Doko face. I don't know if this is the angriest we've seen him yet, but it is a contender. It's quite the anger in his teeth and eyes. When I draw faces with more of an angered expression in this close-up, I usually show the individual teeth rather than just making straight lines across or making just the side lines. It gives more detail and more grit to the image. Although, if you aren't used to it, drawing the individual teeth can make it come off a bit too over-detailed and make it just look ugly if you're not doing it right. Personally, I think this one turned out fine. Properly portrays the emotions he is experiencing, feeling. Yeah, I do feel kinda tired. My eyes feel rather heavy at the moment. Doko's eyes feel probably rather tense here. Got some rings around them. Some scrunched up wrinkles going along the nose area and cheek area. Ow. Oh. Well, took care of that phone call. Nothing important there. Yeah, let's switch it to one last track. What do we got here? It's about... That was about an ad that you cannot skip. Nah, not that one. Although that's on the right track. How's about... Yeah, here we go. It was always odd to me how the Sega Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast had like a completely different soundtrack from the Genesis one. But listening to it last year, I realized it's all every track in the Saturn version is a remix of the main theme. That it's hardly anything to complain about when you get remixes like this. I always love listening to this one. I used to play the 3D Blast Saturn versions in, like, put the disc in the CD player and listen to its soundtrack. It was always so magical, and I used to draw to it and stuff. Yeah, Daniel, if you want to know about games I had in mind, this track was always one I envisioned in one of the Freaks games, where it's like some King Shadow bass that's also like all techno-y, and the lights keep flickering in different patterns, along with like every other light would blink while every other light besides them would be out, going into that whole rave type party atmosphere. Now, the original soundtrack, the Genesis Mega Drive one for 3D Blast, always seemed like basically the Sonic 4 of the soundtracks for the Genesis games. Because it was pretty much just continuing on with what the numbered games were like in terms of soundtrack. But for the Saturn version, for some reason, they felt the need to change it to a different soundtrack. But I like both. Preferably you'd have a version that would just let you play any track, like any version of the soundtrack with either version of the graphics. It's got a very energetic vibe to it, but also a very, you're in danger kind of atmosphere. Which makes sense given, the villain that the music is acting as the background to the layer for. Alright. Eyebrow. I don't normally draw thick eyebrows for Doko. Sometimes when it's close up, I feel the need to put the eyebrow in. It's whatever works for the individual image that's being made. Ow, ow. And I think that I'm done with all that I'm going to create on stream this time. Let's, get that eyebrow more thickened up along the end of it. There we go. Okay. Actually, let's get this. There we go. Okay, no. There's one more Doko. Oh, now it's... okay. Okay, there you go. You saved. The first act of Panic Puppet Zone, which is what this, the level that this music comes from is actually more menacing sounding than this track, which was always kind of odd to me, given that you're, like, deeper into it in the second part, and then this, like, really upbeat version of it starts playing. But I do love this track. This guy in one final Doko here. Not going to even bother with all of these audience members right now. Do not have the energy for that. Bum, 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 bum. Of course, there's one more Doko to go. Things can never be simple when making this comic. It always just goes on forever. It's the song that goes on forever. Listen to the song forever. Listen to the song forever. Surprised I missed this Doko, considering that I did the camera underneath him and even left this white area between the leg and the camera so that the leg could be filled in. That is the observation skills of Edward. In action on screen. We're getting there. Say probably 3/5 of the way done with this Doko. Getting ever closer. That's how you always gotta look at things. It is always getting closer to the end goal every single step you take. That's what keeps it going, is just thinking, well, don't think about it, you just keep doing it, and then as it goes, you realize, oh, I am actually making progress. This will eventually be at its conclusion one day, as long as I keep going. How much time are you willing to sacrifice for what you want done? I'm willing to sacrifice every last little bit of everything. It is my life. creating. Probably bring the hair out a tiny bit more at the back here. That's better than how I had it laid out. I could make a guide for how to draw Doko, like, on model, but really it just boils down to how good he looks to the eye in each scene. It differs depending on, like, what you're having them do and how you want the scene laid out. And also how you want to draw them at that scene. But there's always a general idea of what the thing's supposed to look like in the back of your mind. Okay. And... okay. I think that is it. Oh, that's way too far zoomed out. Yeah, that's all the Dokos and claws filled in. Let me check down here. I didn't fill in the eye, but it's not like anyone would have cared or noticed because it was too far away and such a little detail compared to everything else. But I guess I will raise the opacity. And this gives a general idea of how it will look. Just imagine that, come on, get off that. Where is... oh, well, I guess this is freezing up now. But... okay, is it back to normal? Okay. And just imagine... there's all the filled-in black spots in the audience, and all the little white lines left over from the fill-in process are filled in. And you'll have an idea of how it's going to look when I put it up on the internet later today, or... well, it should be later today. Should not take till tomorrow. Yeah, this has been, page 63 of Heroes and Legends, the 14th comic of the Dreamscape series. I do hope you all have enjoyed watching, and I guess I will talk to whoever wants to come in the Discord later, or see all of you in the next video. I guess I will be taking my leave now to go get whatever food I'm going to make, and I will see you all next time. Farewell!